she was able to like, do you think, because I think, especially like you've been there 13 seasons, like, can you tell like right away, like, listen, you had people that have been there for 1 season or 2 seasons as a full-time cast member, that no shade to them. Look, you could be great at a lot of things in life and this just isn't for everyone. Like, can you, as like, Kandi Burruss, OG since season 2, like, can you tell when someone's like comes in and you're like, this just isn't going to work?
Yeah, for sure. I think sometimes it's like some people are able to, because you got to remember, especially in the beginning of the season, sometimes they may have different people come in with I'm just saying over the years, I'm not talking about this year in particular, but
Right.
they may have people come in what they call test with us, like maybe just throw them in there with us to see how they, able to jump right in and have conversation. And some people just can't. Some people can't find their way into the conversation. Some people, there's like they trying too hard or whatever. And then the next thing you know, we never end up seeing that person when it comes to final edits or whatever. They end up getting cut on right out the footage. But there are those people who are able to just like jump right in, and it's like they've been there forever, or either people who are able to have real conversations and not be intimidated. Like, I'll give that to Drew. Like, Drew, her first season, she was going back and forth with Kenya, and I was like, okay, girl, because a lot of people can't go back and forth with Miss Kenya Moore, But this season, actually, Kenya and Drew started out on a better foot this year. So let me say that.
That's good.
But somebody else in Drew was going back and forth this year, though.
Well,
you don't have to see.
Season 14 is here. Like, we see it a little bit. We see like, coming this season. So listen, it's one explosive trailer. It's one explosive rest of the season. So I can only imagine, but I think you're talking about, the word on the street is that now that Miss Marlo has a peach, game is on. So we have Marlo finally has her peach. Yeah. How do you feel about this? Because you were a very big proponent of Marlo getting a peach throughout the years, Kandi.
Listen, I rooted for Marlo. Now Marlo got her peach, honey, and she was like coming at me. I was like, girl, like, what is this? Like, I was not feeling it. I'm not even gonna lie. During the season, I already told people she and I had like a big back and forth. The one that they're showing in the trailer is not the one that I'm talking about. So yes, the one that they showed in the trailer when she and I are going back and forth, that was a separate argument. But the bad one is not in that trailer. It's another bad back and forth.
So even worse than we see in the trailer.
Way worse. Like that they showed in the trailer, we did have some exchange. I think that was around the time when I first realized that she had been saying some things behind my back that I didn't like, so that's what you see in that trailer. We was having some back and forth, but no, later on, which I'm assuming that they're probably going to drop part of it in the super trailer later. You know how they do that mid-season one?
Yeah.
They probably going to play part of that later, but that was when she and I really got into it a different time. So that's why I'm like, they didn't give y'all everything in this trailer that they gave you.
So like the big explosion might be after a mid-season trailer, so later in the season. So is there anything you want to, share with us here behind the velvet rope, Kandi, about what this dispute with Miss Marlo and her peach might be?
Well, I don't want to give away too much, but what I will say, it wasn't expected. Like, it wasn't why, like, I went into the scene at that time thinking, oh yeah, I'm about to check Marlo today, or I'm gonna have a drama with Marlo. It was like totally unexpected. It wasn't like it was something, sometimes you kind of know, like this person is probably gonna argue with this person today because of whatever's brewing. But this particular time, there was nothing brewing between us, but she said some things that I felt she was being hypocritical about. And so I spoke on it. She didn't like what I had to say, and it just blew up. We started going back and forth.
Wow.
And it was very disrespectful, some of the stuff that she was saying. That's how I feel. Now she said I was being disrespectful, so I guess I'll just leave it at that. We were very, very disrespectful to each other. Let's just say that.
Wow. So, and when all this is going on, you were such a proponent over the years, like, let's give Marlo her peach. Like, does any part of you, during that, like, did you look back and say, like, did you regret it? Did you say, Kandi, why?
I was mad as hell. I was like, really, like, I didn't want to ever talk to her again, for real. But at that moment that it happened, you know what I'm saying? But we ended up making up later. But yeah, I was not feeling her at first.
Were you shocked? Like, you think, Marlo has her peach. Look, there's people she could come for. We could all give a list of who we think, but you probably would have been my last. Like, were you shocked that this was happening with her?
I definitely was shocked at some of the things that she said, because it was like not cool at all. So I definitely was shocked that she went there with some of the stuff that she said. But at the same time, as you see in the trailer, like, there were multiple things that she was saying and doing to me that I felt wasn't cool, leading all the way up until that point. So I just was kind of like, okay, I don't know where all of that energy was coming from, because, obviously Marlo and I have had our, ups and downs or whatever.
Yes.
But I really thought we were in a pretty good place coming into this season or whatever. I felt like, anything drama we had was in the past. That's what I thought.
Little did you know.
Went haywire. Huh?
I said, little did you know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, we're at the point now where we try to move past things that was said in that argument. The only problem that I'm having at this moment is, because I feel like, how what you said when you argued, but I don't know what she said behind my back. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel once I see it on TV.
Right. Like, right now, you're kind of okay and you've recovered from this argument, but as this airs and we see confessionals, you're not sure.
Basically.
And we all know sometimes after we see confessionals, social media gets involved and
exactly
a lot could happen, Kandi.
Exactly. So I don't really know. But I mean, I'm not the only person that Marlo had drama with, obviously. I think Kenya already talked about, like, their stuff went haywire too. But I'm used to their arguments getting disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to that. I'm not used to Marlo and I, well, not since, what season was that? Years ago when she and I.
Yeah.
You know what? That argument was like bad or worse than the argument Marlo and I had, whatever that reunion was years ago, when she was coming at me about nah. Mm-mm.
So, I mean, by the end of the season, if you and I were to sit down again, like you say, things are good with Marlo now, you may not be saying the same thing in a few months.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna be saying. Like, I hope that I'll be able to get past it, but I'm not really known for being the easiest to get over something. And I have no problem with owning that. I'm a Taurus, honey. I'm stubborn, and once it's up and it's stuck with me. Once I feel a way,